Hello, it's Gill Fielding here, and this is what's caught my eye in the media this week. First of all, I've become aware that there's £1.5 billion worth of interest going to waste on savings accounts, because according to the Bank of England, as at the end of July, there were £245 billion worth of savings in non-interest paying savings accounts. And if the owners of that money just swapped it into a basic savings account paying, say, 0.65%, the overall total would be £1.5 billion worth of interest. So why aren't people doing that? It's extraordinary that we're actually throwing £1.5 billion worth of interest down the drain. And if any of those people with savings want to contact me, I'll help them get a better rate on their savings, even than the 0.65%. So stop wasting the opportunity of your money and get it working for you. One thing that made me laugh this week was that I saw an advert for the sale of a beach hut in North Wales. Now, beach huts always amaze me and why people pay so much money for them. And this beach hut is only 10'6" wide. It has no facilities, no running water, no kitchen, no toilet, but it is £175,000. Wowee. Huge amount of money for something so small, but people like beach huts and you know, that's their thing. And in order to get this beach hut sold, the agents are offering a bonus, or the owners are offering a bonus that goes with a beach hut for you. So for your £175,000, you get the beach hut plus the added bonus of a deck chair. Now, it made me laugh out loud, that one, because it's so ridiculous and so silly that I suspect it might even put people off buying. It's like saying we're selling a house for £495,000 and you get a free light bulb. You know, it's absolutely bizarre. But if you want a deck chair, you get pay £175,000, you get a beach hut thrown in. Now, we've all seen the stories this week about the Afghanistan refugees and the terrible situation there. And the UK are pledging to take 20,000 refugees into the country. And they all need to be housed somewhere, as usual. So they're being allocated to local councils, and every local council is going to take a few. And of course, they need to find properties for them. So a few lucky refugees are going to be housed in Kensington and Chelsea in £1 million homes, and lucky them, and lucky local authority and lucky tenant, I guess. But the point here is that some local councils are now offering huge amounts of golden hello payments to landlords in order to secure properties for these refugees. And the amounts paid are a couple of thousand. I've seen £3,500 paid to the landlord as a hello payment, plus 6 months rent in advance. Plus, some councils are even offering to refurnish and to redecorate and to do some of the maintenance. So it's a win-win for everybody. Obviously, the refugees get housed, and obviously the landlords get secure rent via a local council, and they're doing good for the refugees at the same time. Plus earning a little bit of extra bonus money into their pocket. So a win-win all round. And if you are a private landlord, I urge you to get involved in the scheme. Of course, there were lots of items this week about the change in social care and the payment of the social care system. And of course, on the one hand, I'm really disappointed and saddened for the people that need social care and also don't have the money to pay for it and may have to sell their house in order to pay for it. And so I'm deeply saddened for them. But on the other hand, it doesn't bother me at all, because I have provided my own pot of money for social care. So I've got my property portfolio, my share portfolio, and the rents will still come into my world, whether I'm here in my kitchen at home or whether I'm in a care home or wherever. So those rents and dividends will keep coming to me, irrespective of how old I am or where I live. So I've provided my own fund for social care. And of course, that means I'm not bothered by all the shenanigans that the government are getting up to with social care and the payment of it. I mean, obviously, I'm very happy to pay my share in national insurance and taxes, but that's not what funds my personal social care, because I've taken responsibility for my private economy. So it means I don't have to get upset or panicked about what the government are doing. And we could all do that with better education and knowledge. It is possible for all. The other thing connected to the social care that I wanted to mention was that there's been a bit of an outcry that some of the money is going to be used to pay the salaries of managers to manage the social care system, and the salaries are going to be 200,000 plus per year. And there's a huge outcry about it, but actually that's a relatively small salary in the real world, in the business world, and you'd be expecting to pay an awful lot more than that for a senior manager in a corporation, a big business somewhere in the UK. And we've got this fundamental dichotomy that we want the National Health Service, we want the social care service to be exemplary, we want it to be good, we all expect that, we all contribute to it, but we're not prepared to pay the salaries for the people that manage it and work it and participate in it. So we want a first class service, but we don't want to pay first class pay. And we've got this really weird attitude in the UK that we think these people who are major players and could command salaries, you know, of £1 million or whatever it might be in the business world, we expect them to work for a fraction of what they're worth in the marketplace and some kind of sense of moral duty. Now, we wouldn't ask a bus driver or a train driver or a nurse to do that, other than obviously we pay them too little, but we wouldn't say to a bus driver, look, you know, we know you're paid, I don't know what it is, £1,000 a month, but we're just going to pay you £200 this month because you must really like doing it for the love of it. We wouldn't ask people like that to do it. So why do we ask our senior managers to do it? We want a first class service and we deserve a first class service. We need to pay first class salaries in order to get it and to manage it. And then I just wanted to finish with a bizarre story about how we view property in this country. And we have this really outdated notion that every property needs to be a beautiful little cottage with roses growing around the door and it's lovely. And what that does, if we have that ideal vision of a property in our heads, it means that we don't appreciate all of the other properties that we have. And we've got maybe a couple of million people that are homeless or in short-term housing, temporary housing, or on local housing authority waiting lists who want a property whatever it looks like. And we have to get over this. It has to be perfect, it has to be beautiful. Obviously, properties need to be presentable and they need to be reasonable to look at, but we don't need to be creating some ideal chocolate box lid picture of a property. We need to take off the rose-tinted glasses because those glasses make local action groups participate in the not in my backyard type of actions against planning permissions because they want to preserve this ideal beauty. It can't happen. We need to house people. There are several million people that are in inappropriate housing, and we need to relax our view and our outdated notions of what a property would look like. And I'm just going to quote Peterborough as an example. Peterborough has just been voted for the third year in a row the worst place to live in the UK. And yet when you look at Peterborough, it's got 11% of all housing that got solar panels. And that's the highest local council in the country. And they also do an awful lot in terms of environmental developments and road and so on. So we might well be voting Peterborough to be the worst place to live in because it's got solar panels and it don't look pretty. But actually the future has to be solar panels. We have to be environmentally aware and we have to house people. So let's take off the rose-tinted glasses, shall we, and get real. Let's house people in appropriate, decent looking housing. And that has to be a desire that we have for everybody because we have too many people not living in any property at all, let alone something that's got roses around the door. Let's take off the rose-tinted glasses. Let's get real. I'll see you next week.